Before I get started on this review, I'd like to draw attention again to liking the video and please subscribing and giving this video your full attention. Watch it from start to end. It really helps out the channel, and the longer you watch, the more YouTube will suggest it to people, and the more you like, YouTube will suggest it to people. So anyway, Infinite Dendrogram episode 4. This was an interesting one for several reasons. But let's start off at the beginning. So Ray and Nemesis are just um trying to find some money because Ray found this horse from a gotcha game. But in order to ride a horse, he needs to have the horse riding skill. So he has to buy this amulet, which is 100,000 in-game currency. So that's the whole catalyst for what starts this off. So as they're walking around, they come across these Titans, so these NPCs that are trying to, let's just say, take advantage of a woman to make it PG. And she's trying to give them a ransom because apparently their boss has kidnapped her brother, and so she wants to pay the ransom so she can have her brother back. And they mention something very, very interesting. They mention, no way, we're not giving you back your brother. Now, to give us the money, he's going to be our boss's dinner, and it looks like you'll be our dinner too. And I want you to pay attention to that later in the review. So basically, Ray's like, this leaves a bad taste in my mouth. There that is this catchphrase again, and he's gonna go, stop right there. And as he says it, another voice says it in like the exact same tone, and he's like, wait a minute, am I hearing double? And then on the other side of the street comes this um comes this other young man. He's got on like a navy button-up uniform, and he announces his level is like 129, and they're like, say what? And so he's like, prepare thy fools to die for hurteth my lady, trying to be all chivalrous, but he's not trying to do it in like a douchey way. He's legitimately trying to be that old-fashioned, like stereotypical gentleman. And so he tries to fight off the bad guys, and they utterly destroy him, knock him out. Which begs the question: why is this guy getting beat up if he's that high level? Is he lying? So anyway, back to Ray. Ray goes in, and he goes in for a punch, and they're like, yeah, right, you weakling. And then Ray punches him, and because he's got the gauntlets on, it increases his max strength by 100. So he literally sends a guy flying and knocks the guy out, and the other ones run away. And so then we get the whole confirmation of why this guy is such high level, but he's not really good. He is such high level, but because of the class he chose, High Diviner, his base stats stay the same. So that's a little hint that I didn't pick up on the first time, but that's a little hint of what his class is. So then basically the woman who is the Titan that was gonna be taken advantage of comes up to him and is like, will you save my brother? I'll give you this money. If it's not enough, I'll give you more. Just please save my brother. And both of them are very much like, they're like, we'll do it free of charge. They say, yay. And then she basically spills the beans to him is, remember what I said earlier about the bad guy saying that her brother was going to be their boss's dinner? Well, this guy literally basically kidnaps children and literally eats them cannibalism style. So this is another Titan too. So this just boils their skin, and this sets off a theme throughout the episode that even though Titans are from this world, they're still individuals, they're still humans in the eyes of Ray and this young man, which we come to find out his name is Hugo. So with all that serious subject, the director decided to put in some comedy, and so um Hugo's party member CC um gets into like a little fight with Nemesis, and it's like they're bickering back and forth, and they're like, and then and Nemesis and Hugo and Ray are like, huh, I wonder how this will end. And it's like 5 seconds later, they're both shaking hands like they're both friends. And Ray's like, how in the world did that happen? Anyway, and so that, and so then all of a sudden, whenever we see CC, she's dragging back all the other guys and she interrogated them. So now they know where their hideout is. So they go to their hideout and everything. But before they go to their hideout, they go to this sort of open clearing. And then Hugo lays out on a sort of like a mat and stuff. And this is real interesting. And then Hugo asks Ray something very important. Do you want to save this girl because it's your duty as a paladin to the kingdom, or are you doing this on your own term? And like the boss he is, Ray says, because it would leave a bad taste in my mouth. And so Hugo smirks and basically reveals machinery. He's from the Darus kingdom, the kingdom of machines. So apparently not all the people in the other kingdom are bad. It's just probably the main actors, because him and Ray are very much alike. They see these Titans as real individuals. You know, they're not human per se as like the flesh and blood masters, but they're still individuals with wants, feelings, and they're still conscious, and death is still death for them. You know, and I'll get to more into that, how the director emphasizes that later in the review. But basically, so Hugo pilots a mech, and so they go to the spot, and so they discuss the plan. And the plan is basically for Hugo to go in as a distraction. They'll focus on Hugo and and Hugo will shoot some smoke screens, and then Ray and Nemesis will go in and rescue the children. So like, yeah, that's a good plan. And then just as they're about to do it, some 2 carts full of these captive children come in, and CC has like a ability that allows her to read the minds of passersby, which is a hint of something to come. And basically they're talking about, they're going to eat the kids. And so Hugo and Ray and Nemesis and Cece decides to really start now. And so Hugo goes out and attacks and stuff and draws her fire and stuff and pretty much wipes all the grunts out. And then Ray goes in, and so then we see a shot of like this cloaked figure inside the castle that their hideout is, and he reminds me of Emperor Palpatine. And he's like, Goro will take care of this one, talking about Hugo in the mech. But I'll take care of the other master. So apparently we're going to have a fight between Ray and this supposed leader. But back to Hugo and Cece. So then they go on battling for a long time, and then this wolf Guro that the other guy mentioned comes out, and it comes to find out that this guy is second in command of the gang that's been kidnapping these children, and they're fighting, and it's like the wolf pushes Hugo back, and it's a desperate struggle and all, and all of a sudden the wolf takes out what I can assume are baby heads. I know this is graphic, and he literally eats them like popcorn. And he's like, that's good, but it's not enough. I need something a little bigger. And he starts walking towards the cages to get out a fresh victim. And all this time, Cece is telling is telling Hugo to use some sort of like skill that she's been hinting out all throughout the episode, and he's like, "No, I have to use it for our plan. I have to use it for our plan." And when he realizes that those kids are gonna die, he snaps out of it, and he's like, "You fiend! I will send you to heck. I will destroy you. I will use the skill. I trust Ray, but I can't let these kids die." And so the guy's like, "What? You don't have a leg to stand on." And then he goes basically like, "Yes, I do. Go CC activate." And it turns out that the marker that was on CC was basically just like an illusion, and it dissipates, and we find out that CC is another maiden type. And um so basically um and it basically CC basically transforms um Hugo's mech into this white silver knight, and they go at it and stuff. But before I forget, Hugo before the fight goes on, he mentions to Ray that the that there's something that all maiden types have in common, and that is the fact that they see this world as not a game. And Ray's like, "Of course it's a game." Which on the surface, yes, but deep down he believes that these people are as sentient as regular masters, and that's what it's getting at. So then it goes back to Ray and Nemesis, and they're walking through the castle, and then they come across these zombies, and these zombies are basically devoured kids, and they've used their remains as sort of protection. And so, um, and 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 so Ray gets that sort of that. Ooh, this is wrong. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. This is what Hugo meant. What can I do for these kids now? This is horrible. And Nemesis lightly basically points out that that is the best thing that he can do is to end them, to end their suffering. And so he takes out the fire gauntlet and he basically burns the remains up, and then you see like a little wisp of something on the wind, and then you hear a little child's voice go, "Thank you," and stuff. And after that it's like he's like, "This is real, this is too real." And it's like Nemesis comments that the reason this is so hard for people like Ray and Hugo is because in our modern society, sure, we see death, but we don't see most of us don't see the horrors of war because we're in a comforted like bubble of society. I mean, when we see stuff about child abuse, it makes us cringe. But imagine living in a medieval society where you see death like the black plague around you every single waking moment. That's something that, we haven't had to face as a society that the people in Infinite Dendrogram do. And so Ray makes a comment that people have probably quit Infinite Dendrogram because it was too much pressure. It was too real. It probably gave them PTSD. And so, yeah, that goes back to the whole theme of these Titans. They're real. They're not just, you know, um, they're not just NPCs like the villain from last episode said. Most people consider this just to be a game, but there are those like Ray and Hugo, no matter what their country affiliation are, they realize that, they might not exactly be flesh and blood humans from our world, but they are individual humans, and they have wants and feelings and all. And remember what I said in the beginning of the review, that basically the artist basically illustrates this by using some sort of technique. And this is the fact that other than when the kids finally just disappear like it's supposed to be on the wind, whenever um whenever Hugo is killing the enemies, and whenever the kids are burnt, or whenever the kids are being eaten by the werewolf, you don't see like that typical, like when the monsters get killed they evaporate. No, you see blood, and well, not really blood, but you see dead bodies, and you don't see them dissipate like you would in a video game. And I believe that's the author drawing to attention, that if you're not paying close attention, yeah, it's just like a video game, but if you start paying attention, you'll notice little stuff like, hey, they don't disappear, like a video game enemy would. They're there, they rot, they burn. Their skeletons stay on the floor. There's they're not exactly like us, but they're not like they're they are human, but they're not exactly like us. There's something in between AI and real life that is being hinted at, that we'll find out about later, which I think is just fantastic storytelling. So yeah, I can't wait for next episode. And let's say prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for everything you give me on. I pray that lots of people will like this video, and that they may have had fun, Lord, and that you'll forgive me for all my sins. I may lots of people like the video and watch it, Lord, and forgive me for all my sins. In Jesus pray, amen. Alright, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if you need a prayer request, type down in the comments your prayer request. Make it something simple, like I need help with school, or help with a test, or help with my job, or just something simple, not real detailed. And I'll pray for you on a video, or I can pray for you in private, whichever one you prefer. Um I'm just willing to take prayer requests from anybody who has them. And remember also, if you subscribed while watching this video, type down in the bottom of the video subscribe, so I can see who subscribed to what video, and that really motivates me for going after a particular series if you guys like it. And once again, remember to subscribe, and I hope y'all have an awesome day.